My name is Olga. Today's concept is respect, and we'll be looking at a paragraph from Dr. Seuss's famous story, The Lorax. The art form we will be using is drama to discuss how respect plays a large part of the values that we as teachers instill in our students. We must teach our students that respect is a vital and necessary part of communication and social interactions. It is especially important for us as future teachers because in schools you will need to show respect when you interact with your students, fellow teachers, and parents or caregivers. In order to appropriately address and interact with all these groups of people, you need to be aware of how to approach certain topics while staying respectful to each person's cultural background. This will be most important when communicating with families of any Indigenous backgrounds, as their cultures differ in many ways from the Western culture. It is also to remember that you will be teaching your students respect by the way you act and behave toward and around them. Don't forget, your students pick up on your subconscious acts as well as the intentional ones. As a teacher, part of your main responsibilities will be to ensure that your classroom provides equal learning opportunities to a wide variety of diverse students. This activity will require you to form groups of 2 to 4 people, and your task is to create a skit within your group that uses the paragraph or a paraphrasing of it in a dialogue about respect. You can approach it as any kind of conversation you might have between yourself as a teacher and your students, fellow teachers, parents, or even in a retelling of events. The story of the Lorax, in abbreviated form, is about an older gentleman telling a young, inquisitive child about his journey and his run-in with the Lorax. When the gentleman was a young man himself, he discovered a forest of truffula trees. He cut down a tree and used its tuft to knit a thneed. This called into existence a creature called the Lorax, who spoke for the trees and the animals that lived in the forest. Once the man realized he could sell the thneeds and make a lot of money, he decided to call in his family and open a factory. Several times during this, the Lorax asked him to stop, but each time the man ignored him, sometimes speaking over the top of him and other times cutting off his sentence completely. Eventually, as the man's family cut down more and more trees, all the animals had to leave the forest, for their food and homes were being torn down and the air being polluted. When the man cut down the last tree, his family packed up and left, realizing there was no more money coming in. The story then ends with the older gentleman throwing down the last living seed from a truffula tree to a young boy and telling him to plant it and protect it in order to bring the Lorax and the forest animals back. Using what you know of the story, create a dialogue around the following paragraph. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." Consider what this man is saying. He is talking about his rights, what he plans on doing, and his opinion that everyone needs a thneed. Can you think of who might disagree with him? Can you identify whose rights he has not considered? What kind of real-life situation can this story be compared to, and what have we learned from it? In conclusion, as pre-service teachers, we can start practicing respectful communication today, and remember this when we enter the classroom. Keep in mind that your students will learn from your subconscious habits and personal beliefs, and try to let this reflect in your day-to-day behavior. Thank you for listening.